It's time to check out a new trilogy since we finished the original Tales trilogy. I thought it'd be time to jump into K.W. Jeter's Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy with the first book, The Mandalorian Armor. Now, who is K.W. Jeter? That's a good question. I know K.W. Jeter for some infamous sequel books to Blade Runner that no one likes, and you'll find a hardcover copy of Blade Runner 2 Edge of Humanity in just about any used bookstore you go to, next to 10 copies of Close Encounters of the Third Kind by Steven Spielberg. It's one of those used bookstore books you see all the time that they can never get rid of. Um, so what's along? It's like when you go to Barnes and Noble and you see 10,000 copies of Star Wars Phasma by Delilah S. Dawson, like just and they have them for like 60% off. Like, please get rid of it. We call that an Ollie special book. You want up, Cleo? Come on. Anyway, Bounty Hunter Wars was a series I wanted to read as a kid really badly, but could never find the books. Because I was a big fan of the young adult Boba Fett books from Scholastic that came out in the mid 2000s. I liked those books quite a bit as a kid, and I always wanted to read the Bounty Hunter Wars to see how adult Boba Fett was like. But I never could find the books, or if I found them, they weren't in like really good shape. So, anyway, right before we moved to this house, I read The Mandalorian Armor and Slave Ship. And for whatever reason, because moving's chaotic, I never filmed reviews for them. And it came time to be like, oh, I want to review post-Jedi stuff. I might as well read the transition to the post-Jedi stuff, which is this trilogy and Tales from Jabba's Palace. I couldn't remember these books. So let's talk about The Mandalorian Armor. In the present, Dengar is searching around for salvage, like stuff that he can sell from the sail barge exploding after our heroes from Return of the Jedi fight off Jabba and escape. So the sail barge has been destroyed. The Sarlacc's eaten its fill of people. As Dengar is searching around for stuff, Boba Fett explodes his way out of the Sarlacc pit. And it is told completely differently than it is in Tales of the Bounty Hunters. And right off the bat, you know that K.W. Jeter didn't read just any EU going into this. This is the beginning of continuity issues. Because Dengar, rather than being someone who struggles with his brain kind of malfunctioning a lot, he's just a normal, boring bounty hunter in this. And he's still engaged to Malaru, but he decides that he needs to rescue Boba Fett. And then they run into this girl who was a dancing girl we never saw in Return of the Jedi. It's kind of funny how authors keep adding in characters that we never saw in Return of the Jedi that are human women. Because we had that with Mara Jade as well. But this girl's name is Neela, and she has a mind block. But she remembers that she was Boba Fett, like, she had something to do with Boba Fett in her past. That doesn't really matter in this book. It is not talked about again, because this book is mostly set up. Meanwhile, Kuat of Kuat, the CEO of Kuat and heir to Kuat Drive Yards, that makes like a lot of the Empire's weapons, wants Boba Fett dead and has a bombing raid done on the Dune Sea to ensure that Boba Fett is dead. Why? Well, it has something to do with what happened to the Bounty Hunters Guild. So most of this book is in the past, not long after A New Hope, where Boba Fett takes this accountant to Kadarma Bat, the Assembler. So the assembler is a big space spider who has a web in space that is sort of an information broker slash middleman. He creates all these other littler spiders that are parts of his consciousness. The most interesting one being Balance Sheet, which is essentially a spider accountant who has a bigger role in the later books in this trilogy. But he gives Boba Fett a job that to destroy the Bounty Hunters Guild from within, because Boba Fett has nothing to do with the Bounty Hunters Guild. He thinks they're all beneath him, which they are. Spoilers. That's kind of what this book is about. And so he's sent on a job to take out the Bounty Hunters Guild for Kadarma Bat. Little do we know that Kadarma Bat has been hired by Prince Xizor of Black Sun and Palpatine's royal court to do it. Now, Prince Xizor is the main antagonist of Shadows of the Empire, which was big at this time. So that's that's going on in this. And Prince Xizor is doing this as a power play to make the bounty hunters more work in the favor of Palpatine in the future to take on the rebels better in more of the underworld parts of the galaxy where Palpatine's control is weak. So Boba Fett joins the Bounty Hunters Guild that is run by a Trandoshan named Krodosk, who is Bosk's father. The other bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back that show up in the past are IG-88 and Zuckuss. Zuckuss is a completely different character than what we saw in Tales of the Bounty Hunters, where he appears to not even be Force sensitive at all, and it's a weird coward, which has led to the goofiest retcon in most of Star Wars, that Zuckuss is schizophrenic. I don't know. It's just weird. This is what happens when you don't do your research before writing a book, and Bantam didn't seem to care, except for they wanted a Boba Fett trilogy. Boba Fett sets up a team through the Bounty Hunters Guild that involves Bosk, Zuckuss, IG-88, and a creature named Dahar, or Daharan, I can't remember which, who is a living weapon. He turns himself into a cannon, so he has a laser cannon for a head. He looks like this. Ridiculous. But ironically, he shows up in some of Jude Watson's books. So clearly he left an impression with someone. And they're going after this another like accountant type character that is being protected by the Shell Hutts, a sect of the Hutts that wear weird mech suit kind of things that we never hear from again. And essentially this all leads up to kind of a schism in the Bounty Hunters Guild between Bosk and Krodosk. I won't spoil it, but that's pretty much the Mandalorian armor. It's mostly a flashback book. At least that's what the interesting stuff is. And out of these three books, this is the most interesting of all of them. It really setting up the whole bounty hunter schism and breaking of the guild is interesting. Boba Fett is written the way he should be in these books. It's not what Boba Fett would become in Legacy of the Force under Denning and Travis. It's this cold, calculating guy that will kill you if you get in his way. He's not going to go out of his way to murder you, but he will dispose of you if you get in the way of his plans. And he's always one step ahead of you. So they keep up that mystique of Boba Fett. It's one of the few times that Boba Fett is utilized properly in a novel, in my opinion, is in this book. What would I rank in the Mandalorian armor? It gets a 3 out of 5. It's okay. I think the present plot point is really bland. The Shadows of the Empire references feel like, oh, I have to tie it into something. This is the hot stuff happening right now. Shadows of the Empire. But like the ignoring of like Tales of the Bounty Hunters, which I think had some good stuff in it, is really disappointing and kind of takes you out of the story if you know those characters. So anyway, have a nice day.